And but the draft is underway. We'll be able to get ourselves in. Not banned yet, Benwu. Drow Ranger. How's that going to come into play in this series?
I'm not sure if OG will pick it first pick. I think Wings will definitely take it in the first phase. If not, I don't know. Sometimes it's like they might, they will.
And OG taking themselves.
When you said embrace the Wings, I was like, man, that sounds like a good.
I just blinked and we've had two heroes pick. Slark, Darkseer. This is Wings misery. Slark first pick.
Yeah. I mean, that's the scary thing about picking Drow against a team like Wings, that they always first phase row. They have to know what's good against it, right? What do they fear when they're playing Drow themselves? So this is apparently a good response to Drow. Well, it makes sense, right? You have Darkseer to keep harassing the Drow and farming in the safe lane, and you have Slark later on to kind of get onto the Drow. But the Oracle response is really good because it kind of shuts down the early game of Darkseer, because you can remove the shell from the creeps with the first skill, Purifying Flames, I think. No, I don't know.
Fortune's End.
Fortune's End.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know what the hero does.
It does annoying stuff.
Fortune's End is the ultimate, right?
That's false
false
promise.
promise.
False promise. Come on, misery.
Fortune's
You're a
End.
pro player.
What about the second one? Fate's Edict.
Yeah, right.
We got
Nice
I
test.
knew
You
that.
almost got us, Misery. You almost got us.
Oh.
But Misery, yourself, obviously, in the past, you've dabbled with the offlane. What would you say is more annoying to play against as Darkseer? Is it the Oracle or is it the Kotl?
No, I think it's Oracle.
It is the
more.
Oracle.
I mean, then again.
Yeah, it's
Very
a
good
hard
game.
choice.
Mana
isn't it?
League though, Mana League.
Yeah.
I think the early game it would be Oracle.
Yeah.
because you can't really lane. There's no point really. You just go jungle, right? Against Call, you can't just sad all game because you get mana. You have to go Lotus Orb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So
Fog,
there are ways around it.
Greaves.
our Wings aside,
Yeah.
that's going to say we don't care about the Oracle. We're keeping the Darkseer in lane, or do you think we are going to see a quick kind of journey into the jungle and leaving the lane against an Oracle?
Probably depends on what their next pickups from the supports. If they want to be doing the contesting with dual melee with the Darkseer, just using the Iron Shell to extra harass. But more than likely, we'll see him just go to the jungle and then whenever he sees opportunity to move.
Yeah.
But I think ideally they would want to put a little bit of pressure onto the Drow Ranger, like Rasmus was saying.
Could be some Winter Wyvern. I like the Winter Wyvern pickup that newbie used versus Wings' Drow.
Yeah, it's very good. Because it feels like if you just Winter's Curse any hero next to the Drow, that hero will just die.
Yeah. And obviously you already did the synergies there with the Darkseer. You know, if you get the kind of
Yeah,
the
and he
Wyvern
slowed down
and
the push.
Darkseer. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the shards.
Yeah, I mean, interesting ban. Of course, OG they take away the silence. So I guess Ben, this is the whole kind of if you're going to play something like an Oracle or a Dazzle, someone on the back lines that's going to have that crucial spell you need to get off. You don't want to deal with the global silence.
Yeah, they picked it last time versus the Shadow Demon, so Oracle's somewhat similar in that sense. I don't know if they would have run it versus Drow. I don't think it's the best matchup because I think you want a core that can get up interface, and they already have the safe lane Slark. But I don't think
They would run silence to support in this case,
Yeah.
and they would
Have
just
they run silence
global
to
silence for the initiation, right? So
Yeah.
the Oracle can't ultimate. But I mean, yeah, the Winter Wyvern does seem very good for Wings because they are most likely just gonna run like some kind of tri-lane safe lane, and they won't be pressured too much. And even if they do, it's kind of I don't know. It's just so good against Drow in general. Like you can stall the game to get your items on Slark. And you already have a Darkseer, so together you have a very easy time pushing out lanes going into mid game. And Drow and Oracle don't really do that, so you can kind of control when you want to fight and when you don't.
Absolutely. I think one of the things as well that I'm just still kind of a little blown away by, Folge, is this Slark. So you're picking it against what you know is going to be a Drow strat. I mean, Slark, if the game starts to go OG's way at the beginning, there's not really that much Slark can do up to a certain point, is there? I mean, how are they going to make this Slark work in a game where OG's going to put so much pressure on?
They just can't lose their tier 1s.
Yeah.
They can't get run over in the laning phase. Because, I mean, Slark with no items can't really do anything running into, which I'm assuming is OG's going to pick at least 3 ranged heroes and kind of go for this early game timing, at least in the beginning. But yeah, Slark does take some time, and like we've been mentioning, the Winter Wyvern ban. We saw it happening yesterday and the other days when the Drow Ranger was picked up. 3rd, 4th, the Winter Wyvern was banned. I think every single game.
Riki.
But this
No,
is the
Riki.
Wings Riki. So we were mentioning the double Ion Shell carriers, so
Yeah,
that's
so the Riki pick kind of makes me think that they actually want to contest the lane and not just go jungle with Darkseer. They could also just leave the Riki there and Darkseer jungles the first few minutes and then transition there, and then Riki's already like level 2 and 3. That might be a better approach just because the timing is going to hit a few minutes later, but at the end of the day it's going to achieve the same thing, I think, but it won't have any downfall. Like
it kind of is like a double usage of the offlane, right? Because like your Darkseer's getting stuff and your Riki,
Yeah.
instead of just mooching from somewhere else, he's just getting free experience.
And if you
in a way.
if you go there too early, it might backfire, so
Yeah.
that you fuck up the lane, and now you're there with 2 level 1 heroes,
Yeah.
and you have to go back to jungle again. So
And if you get lucky with Darkseer too, you can get level 3 before like 1.5 minute mark.
Yeah.
You go up there really quickly. You have a Riki level 2, Darkseer level 3. You can easily
Yeah.
punish the lane heavily.
but it seems good. It's also pretty good against Drow. Like in general, Drow does not enjoy playing against Riki just because Riki will be on Drow if he wishes to, and the Cloud fucks with him, and it's just annoying. You know, you have to deal with this Invis hero all game.
Yeah, he can
It's a
just
Drow
break.
Ranger.
He just breaks your aura all the time if
Yeah.
he just gets in your face, and then smoke screen. You don't want to ideally go BKB too early on Drow, obviously. And the miss chance just is going to start adding up too. So Riki, good pick versus both the Drow Ranger and the Oracle here.
Axe is going to
Goes
get
for Axe
picked
again.
up. I guess, well, Ben, this is decent against the Slark. Riki as well. I guess it's not really a hero that Riki can go on. Are you liking this picked up? But also, I guess a nice frontliner as well in a team that's going to be running like a Drow strat. You've got someone who can go and run in and initiate.
That's important. I think it's also more reliable lockdown versus Slark. I think like a lot of the teams like Beastmaster plus Drow Ranger, but the Roar's not terribly
No.
reliable versus Slark. You can't purge off the call, which is just really annoying as a Slark player.
So the way I'm reading this pick is like OG thinks that they have a Slark and they have a Riki, and one of them is going to be the safe lane farmer, the other one is the support roaming, so that they're going to run some kind of dual lane with Axe on the offlane, and it's going to be very hard to actually deal with that for Wings at this point. So I think they have to pick up a support that is able to kind of zone those 2 heroes from afar, or not zone, but kind of just sit there. I don't know, I can't really explain what it is exactly that they need, but
Just
they
like a
need this
strong-
ranged guy, you know, this
Yeah.
600 range guy who can kind of keep them at bay and force them to not dive. But I don't
Wings.
know, that was not really what I was thinking, but you know.
E600
Sure.
range.
Yeah.
When they ran it in Nanyang, was it core or was it support?
It was support. It was Ice
support,
Ice.
right? Yeah, it was Ice Ice who played
Yeah.
it. I was pretty sure. So that's
Oh, that's definitely interesting.
that's
It looks pretty good, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
it looks cool.
He doesn't get
it's
up
a,
evil.
It's a surprisingly strong hero when you play against it. Like nobody plays against this hero, even in
Yeah,
pubs.
you
It's
don't
just
even
not.
think about it.
Is it even a hero? Like
Nope.
I don't even know. Like you know, it's never picked.
They have lots of wombo combo with Darkseer
yeah.
Warlock now. Their team fight just grew way stronger than OG's with that. And the heal is always nice. I mean, with Slark laning sustain.
Yeah, you're like playing against Wings, you know.
Playing against Wings, ban nothing. And then OG actually going for something a bit different as well. So like you were mentioning, probably
Yeah.
wanting to do some contesting dual lane.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, here in the grand final, still seeing heroes that are just. It feels like new heroes this slam, the Tusk pick. But I always feel that when you see a Tusk picked up, you've got to be so careful with how you play it, surely, because this Tusk, Wings can play into the hands. If they get a smoke screen down, or suddenly Tusk is moving heroes in a way that Warlock's going to be able to capitalize, drop an ult on top
Yeah.
of them. The Tusk has got to be ever so careful with the way that he initiates this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way people look at Tusk these days is more like the very early game initiation.
Okay.
Like you want to snowball on the Warlock when he's level 2 or something,
Yeah.
and then later on it's more like a save where this guy Drow gets initiated on, then you can kind of snowball him out, or like snowball him for 2
And just
seconds,
hold him
right?
there.
Hold
Yeah,
him there.
And they go
Snow-
for Medusa.
Medusa, okay.
So Drow Dusa,
Yeah,
very,
it's good stuff.
very interesting. The Tusk though, I was gonna say that I actually really like Warlock into Tusk because you have all of your abilities are actually really good into following up against the snowball.
Yeah.
Even upheaval is like.
Yeah.
I
super
like Tusk
powerful.
more versus like single target
Yeah.
disables. Like they have so much AoE, like the vacuum and the smoke clouds.
I mean, yeah, you can look at it that way, but Tusk is a hero that has very low cooldown spells, right, throughout the entire game,
Yeah,
whereas Warlock
that's
is
true.
relying on one ultimate. So Tusk is a very fast-paced hero in that sense. So he could match up against Warlock easily as well. So it kind of just depends on how the game goes.
Mhm.
But I don't know. OG's lineup's looking really strong. I think the Dusa pick was. I don't know if there's a hero that's better than Dusa for the last pick there.
Yeah.
I think that was a very good pick.
There we go, leaving it down to our last second. It is going to be the Jug picked up for Wings, finally, and it's going to be the Blink Juggernaut in that mid lane. So OG versus Wings, game one. It's certainly not letting us down in terms of the draft. We have got a very exciting couple of lineups that are going to be here. I mean, the question is, Ben, who are you preferring here? Do you like OG's finish here with the Deucer, or just the fact that Wings have managed to slip through a jug kind of reassure you that Wings, they've got this one in the bag?
I think the Warlock's going to be good here. Maybe, hopefully.
Okay.
I think it
I
can.
think
It could work.
I think it could
Yes.
work. I think this Medusa could also go completely crazy in this game too, because it's
hard to tell.
really hard to actually get in and do damage on him.
I think Wings has to play like MVP how you used to play, and I think Wings can pull off like they have to kind of run at them like a brawl constantly, you know, and keep doing it with these Juggernauts and Daxias with Shell and like multiple heroes, and like Warlock. I don't know if he doesn't go upheaval. I think he should this game. I think it's very good against these Drow and Medusa because they're already slow. So if you actually get this upheaval on them, they can't move simply. Yeah, TP's bottom lane right here.
I mean, I feel as well, looking at OG's draft, the way that they've done it, they've got so many ways of saving each other. You know what I mean? It's going to be so hard, surely, for Slark to try and make a go on someone because he's got to worry about someone being false promise, someone being put in a snowball, the Stone Gaze coming out, a Berserker's Call, even a Gust from the Drow Ranger. You know what I mean? So for Slark to actually get in there and do the damage.
That's a really cool point too, with the Berserker's Call with Stone Gaze, the interaction with that.
Oh,
You turn
that,
people
yeah.
to face the Dusa. That could actually come into making a big play in this game.
Yeah, that's a good point. But at the same time, like, yeah, I mean, Wings have these natural, like, they have a natural mech pipe. Like, pipe is not really irrelevant in this game, but like, they have mech, they have Crimson Guard potentially from the Daxia. They also have this very slippery heroes in Juggernaut, Ricky, Slark, Daxia. Like, they kind of have the same thing that it's none of the teams really want to commit fully. Like, OG wants to kind of siege, and Wings wants to like poke them constantly, right? And eventually initiate.
And in terms of kind of overall game plan, obviously the way that the draft started, you know, OG with this Drow and then being responded to by a Slark, it's kind of like, all right, okay, OG are going to be looking for a certain timer. But the fact that they've gone back and rounded up this lineup with a Medusa, does that kind of say to you, Ben, that the OG there, they don't mind it if it doesn't kind of kick off as early as they want to with the Drow, that they can still take this late?
That's generally how it is with Drow nowadays. Drow like doesn't really have a 30-35 minute timer anymore, especially with the Axe Maelstrom build. I think it's surprisingly good after that phase, but I think that's one of the cool parts about Drow. You can win in 25 minutes, but you can also go 40 plus.
Indeed, the lanes at the moment, nothing too out of the ordinary. It is indeed, as you talked about, that kind of dual combination up top with the Darks here and the Ricky. Bottom lane, Moon receiving a fair bit of harassment. Top lane, they actually might be able to get themselves first blood, and indeed they will. Oh, OG, they're going to find themselves one, and Darkseer now left on his own. They'll just take themselves a second. So, I mean, as soon as we talk about this off-lane combination, Misery, it shouldn't be off to a start like that, should it, for Wings?
But that was what I said, right? You can go there, level 1, and contest, but it's kind of what we did against Liquid yesterday as well with Bounty Hunter Daxia. If it fails, you're very far, like you feel very far behind, and it's very hard to now, like they're just gonna go back in there, and I think it's probably the right call. Like you just want to keep you want to keep all 3 heroes there, you want to keep pressuring them, but I still think going jungle level 1 fast and just be content with farming for like 2 minutes and then going there might have been a better choice. But in China the teams in general don't really value Iron Talon. Like we haven't seen that much this tournament. It's mainly just going to the lane and contesting, even if you are looking at a really hard lane. Just to keep supports there, just to sit there, you know, and be present in the lane.
Yeah, just some pressure.
Because if you actually go Iron Talon jungle, the supports are free to move. The carry gets uncontested farm. Like suddenly the mid laner is exposed. They can also just go on and contest your jungle farming. So it's there's no point really Iron Taloning, it seems, at this stage in how Dota is right now. Even though it is like faster, like super fast farming.
I mean, how much of a change do you think that little thing did make, you know, with the experience kind of buff for the offlaner, getting it from when the neutral denies there? Does that really make much difference to the offlane, or is that very negligible?
I think it's I think it helps offlaner slightly, but I don't think it changes on how the game is played. Like in that sense, it was already at that point where people were contesting the offlane instead of going Iron Talon. I don't think it has an effect in that sense.
No, I guess at the least for Wings at the moment, as we can see, it's the pressure that they're putting on N0tail. It's meaning that he's starting to fall behind at the Shadow Slark. 14 for 3 in their own safe lane compared to N0tail's 10 for 3. Trying to make a little bit of a go again onto the Riki. They're going to move in. They've got the dust, but Riki actually jumping out in time over to the Darkseid and OG. They can't quite chase that down. Bottom lane again, just putting the harassment on Moon, trying to back him up. And Moon, obviously, he is an offlaner that does like to no-tail and hit it up into the jungle. This time around, he's sticking in the lane. And Ben, is he just safer for him to find stuff? And Blink, I mean, dancing around in the mid lane with Miracle, but obviously feels confident with the backup of the Kitty Cat healing ward. But the offlane for OG, Moon doesn't want to go to the jungle quite yet.
It's the same reason that the wings are staying up here too. Like they already wasted a century, a dust. Like they're having to expend mana on early game items. Like the Drow, for example, picked up a magic stick, which you don't really want to do. You prefer to go more agility items, Aquila, so you can push down your tower. So it's the same thing. Just slow them down a little bit and don't let them have a free lane.
Yeah, so you can basically look at this axe and you can see, yeah, he has 4 CS. Why is he not jungle? And but what happened if he jungles is that Warlock would chain pull, and Slark would get the full XP from the wave, which means that both of them would be level 6 at like 6-7 minutes potentially, right?
Yep.
And an axe, yeah, sure he would have 30 CS or whatever, but this level 6 Warlock at that time, like both of them are level 3 now or something like that, right? And
Yep.
it's 4 minutes into the game, so it does a lot that he's just there, and he's getting levels himself. He's not getting farm, but levels.
Yeah, it's a really good point. A lot of people don't really think about, especially like when you're playing in like more casual type games and anything, you look and it's like, why aren't you like doing this? It's not efficient, but like you're actually doing so much just by staying there. Even though you're not walking up and hitting anybody, you're not really killing anything. You force pressure onto the other team just from your presence.
At the moment in the mid lane as well, it's worth noting the CS that we've got going on. 25 for 7 on the Deucer compared to Blink's 15 for 3. Is this kind of difference expected in this matchup?
With Drowar, look at her damage right now. She's 92.
And the snake.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
we all know the snake in mid lane it's pretty dirty, especially up against the melee hero. Juggernaut's probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, at least you can spin, but
Yeah.
your mana pool isn't really.
You have your healing ward
Sick.
too to just sustain a bit, but
Just sit at 0 mana, right?
right.
Just healing ward spin. Don't let him.
Oh, look at that as well. I think, yeah,
Ooh.
Moon realised that Riki was around sapping the XP. So it brings crit and they tried to go for some kind of reaction. It was nice awareness, but nonetheless, Riki's already out of there.
That
Innocence
was
is
really
safe.
close.
But Ricky is like still being so annoying, right? They've had to use so much sentries and dust
Yeah.
already, and he just stole a creep from Axe and XP from Axe. Like he's forcing Tusk to run around.
On
And
mid
kill
lane,
mid lane, alright.
yeah, moving
Well.
in, they're able to get crit in with the snowball and the shards. No escape for the Jug. OG picking themselves up a 3rd kill, and this lane really is going to go from strength to strength here for OG. Miracle 31 for 10, still keeping a very sizable lead on the Juggernaut. And I mean, how bad is that for a Jug to fall behind in the laning stage? Can he recover?
I think he can. I think it's gonna be mainly from fighting in this game. Like I could see maybe Slark even going for a blink deck in this game.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone even does that anymore. But like they could take the fighting to OG maybe earlier than they would expect OG, and then this Juggernaut is still very strong with spin and healing ward.
Crit dancing around Vice Size. It's obviously not expecting the Riki to be here if Wings do decide to make a go. They're thinking about it, trying to bring Shadow across as well, and already the TP reactions are there. Shadow looking to move, and he's not going to commit for that one. Moon's coming on the axe, and Wings already starting to back off. Moon won't be able to catch anyone, but he does save the life of Crit there with his presence. Top lane, we might actually see some action as well, but well, bottom, Moon actually gets the call off. The snake coming through as well. Shadow is being healed up though by the Shadow, and it's not going to be enough. That right click damage, thanks to the Drow Aura, is going to allow Miracle to find the kill. He's got a DD as well. So Wings backing off. So 4th kill now for OG, and all things said and done, I mean, you just got to look at the net worth. It feels so far that OG's game plan is working perfectly, and Wings a little bit all over the place.
That's a huge kill on the Slark there.
Yeah,
Axe
double
gets
damage.
a ton of experience. Slark gets slowed down heavily while he was completely free farming. And Miracle gets accelerated. With the Jug dying mid and the Slark dying bottom, that's very, very detrimental to Wings' early game plan. But still, they just need to get their level 6s on the Warlock, and then that's their main timing.
And they're going to find someone else here by the looks of it with the nuke, and again, the right click from this Drow Ranger. A 5th kill for OG, and every single lane just seems to be going their way. Wings need to look to do something. Mid lane, also Crit's already got his eye on more. He's come across on the Tusk. There's 2 of them here at the moment. Blink is backed up by Ice Ice's Warlock in case anything goes down. Crit's not going to look to make the play as of yet.
Still pretty good levels on that Warlock. He's pretty close
Yeah.
to 6, level 5 at 7.5.
Yeah, he got like, what did he get? Like full lane XP. I guess they found the big camp as well on
Yeah.
the side. But yeah, the Warlock is actually pretty key in this game. They need to take a fight with this Warlock ultimate. I don't know, it's still hard, like getting behind against a team like OG when they have but they're not under pressure in any way. Like they feel fine going into late game and stuff, and they're ahead. It's very hard to force fights against them. So I don't know if they're gonna be able to find that fight that they need. Maybe they're gonna use Warlock also to get a kill on Oracle or something, you know. But it's not really gonna change the pace on in which this game is going.
Yeah, because the Darkseer is so heavily punished as well that it's like, after the Golem, they don't really have anything else going for them. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, hopefully someone's like straggling in a different position and you get an Omni Slash, but OG's lineup isn't really a lineup where you will see people straggling. It's going to be a 5-man oriented lineup as soon as they get their timing.
And maybe just trying to put some pressure on mid. They do have backup wings, but at the same time, just can't seem to make that jump onto Miracle that they're looking for.
He went 2 in the Fatal Bonds as well. He didn't go for any upheaval early, so I guess he's just going to prioritize this for now, and then maybe later on we'll see him switch it up.
Yeah, in this game it seems like Upheaval is going to be better later on, whereas they kind of need this damage that Fatal Bonds gives.
You can see Moon just cleaning out the canvas. You did actually just see as well OG just scanning this area, making sure that the Riki was not in the neighborhood. Notes out. Getting those stacks up as well on the Ancients. But still, as we can see, 4.3k, 4.2k on their two cores compared to the 3.8 and the 2.8 at the respective on the side of Wings. And now grouping up OG to take a tier 1 from the mid lane. They've already been able to take the one from top. And at this point of the game, when these kind of pushes come through at 9.5 minutes, I guess Wings they don't really have the tools to deal with this kind of pressure.
Yeah, they don't.
They need Warlock hold at the very least.
I mean, but even if they have Warlock ult here, you know, it's still like they need to smoke in there. They need to actually smoke behind and attack them, because otherwise OG will just sit there with their 600 range heroes and like attack the tower.
Whoa.
Is
I
that
guess he thought he was going to lose the...
Okay,
Jesus.
it's not my mind.
Ryan, I think your thing's out of batteries.
Oh!
Oh, God.
Oh! Oh!
Oh, no. Please, God, no.
Oh, please.
Radiant Scan Wings does
Yeah,
scout
that's
the
seen
OG movement. Oh, God, that's terrible. Is that what
I
it
don't know if
was?
you can hear this on stream, but we keep getting some interference coming through. Here we go. Moon, he's moving in aggressively here. He's going to spot the Darkseer. Wings have already got TPs coming through. Let's see how they play around this one. Moon gets the call onto 2, trying to bring them back with the smoke screen. Now there's the Golem drop. They're looking for N0tail. Moon's already falling low as Shadow and Innocence focus him. They'll take down the Axe. N0tail getting himself out of there. He's got the backup of the rest of OG. OG maybe going too aggressive for their own good here. And Wings, see if they can catch anyone else out. Isn't going to be the case. But obviously with the Golem, Wings are going to want to try and make the most of it, turn this into a tier 1 push as well, and in fact crit. Oh, he's found Blink. He's managed to find him with the dust, and Jug taken out. Thought he could be a little bit sneaky with the Invis Room. Was it going to be the case? And OG find a kill in return, and that's going to be the end of the push here from Wings as the TP outs are already happening. In fact, the Golem might end up going down as well to OG as they'll look to chase it down here.
It's just sliding. Look at it. It doesn't even walk. This
Yeah,
Golem
we got
actually just slides.
Easy plus 100. So when things start to look a little bit okay for Wings, they end up finding a 1-1 trade OG, and it is the better trade. And now Wings, a man down. They've got to be careful. Jug does have the Omni Slash available when they're back, but that's the Golem used. And not really too much effect there for the side of Wings as OG just recover very, very quickly.
Yeah, they don't really have that much catch besides, like, if Slark pounces on somebody. It's like the Warlock Golem and then the Slark getting on, like, actually right on top of someone. Other than that, it's very hard for them to really catch people until the Darkseer has more levels for his vacuum combo.
I mean, this is pretty much just Roshan, right? They're just gonna walk in there and kill Rosh, like Warlock ultimate. Like, and I mean that's a good reason to why Warlock isn't picked much, is because his ultimate has so long cooldown. It's like, what is it, 160? I think.
It's something ridiculous.
Yeah,
165 all levels as well.
Yeah, and like it's still on cooldown for like 50 seconds or something right now. It's pretty sad. And they killed one Axe, you know.
Yeah, you said you look at OG's lineup. What kind of long cooldowns are they playing around? None at all. They're just ready to go.
Yeah, an interesting choice as well for. I mean, a very smart choice from Miracle also this game, going for drums, and they're going like Dragonlance on Drow, obvious, and then, but they're just pretty much just tanking up and going these early game items, and then you just know that they're gonna fight as 5-man, like. of course he's going Blink Deck on Axe, but I mean I wouldn't even be against just going Vanguard first and just
run
you
it.
know be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Just play to the strength of the lineup.
Yeah. But I mean, Blink, like, it doesn't really matter what he does, honestly. He can just be an Axe there. Blink Dagger is nice too, because now they have a way of catching when they go for towers. So if anybody's out of position, they will just get called, and then it's pretty much just over from there. They won't be able to fight if they're one man down.
And Ben, what do you think about this as well? The Slark, he's gone for the Echo Saber first, so no Shadow Blade, no Blink Dagger, no kind of gap closing item for himself. He's felt pressured to just build the Echo straight up.
I mean, that's pretty risky because, like, if you get Stone Gaze, you have to you have to just back out of the fight. He doesn't really have a way to get in there and get out at the moment. So
I was looking at it as, I mean, people were kind of like joking around when they called this like the cheap man's Battle Fury. So maybe he's doing it like as soon as they got the Aegis, he recognized, all right, I just have to get as much farm as
Farm up,
possible
yeah.
during this time, and that's what he's using to kind of accelerate him rather than going for that Lothar where you can try to go for pickoffs.
would you prefer that over Midas? Like, if you're not going to be fighting?
I think so. I mean, Midas doesn't, like, the thing about Echo Saber is that it gives you this intelligence
Yeah.
and mana region, right?
Yeah.
And it's really crucial on Slack because against a lineup like this, you really want to be split pushing as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And if you go for Midas, you will run out of mana very fast. So it's kind of, and Midas doesn't really give you anything either. Like the timing is gonna come way earlier. So if you farm your Shadow Blade while split pushing and you have a Midas, like there's a big difference between having a Midas and an Echo Saber in this sense.
Yeah.
I think that's the choice as well. Just
I like it. I actually do like it because, like, we were mentioning, like, OG's lineup isn't a lineup that's going to split up. You're not really going to go get this, like, pick off with your Lothar or anything. It's just not realistic. So this is just what he feels is the safer bet. And, I mean, this is Wings. We've talked about it. We joked about it a bit. But they do sometimes just build very obscure things that people don't expect. But it works for them.
And as we can see there, Darkseer did just finish off the mech as well. I mean, obviously we've talked about Wings and the fact that they're kind of fighting around that cooldown at the Warlock Golem. With the mech, with the healing ward, is there any kind of benefit for Wings to try and draw out the team fights with like the two cores, the Slark and the Jug? Can that work, or will OG always have the edge just because of their superior firepower at this stage?
I mean, as long as they don't all get caught out, like you want to kill Oracle first, but you're also going to have to back off because of Stone Gaze. You also want to kill Dry Ranger, but she has Aegis at this point, so I don't think they have the damage to burst anyone down very quickly, which is a little bit troublesome to Oracle.
Ideally, resetting a fight is pretty good, though, with the Slark. So they probably want those fights to last a bit, but they want to be able to get the Oracle out first.
With these dusts, I mean, he's finding innocence as easy as pie, and he's been caught out. They'll take the rookie. A little bit unfortunate for them that they weren't able to get the Jug, as it did look like Blink was in a bit of a spot of bother. But OG, they finally kill nonetheless, still maintaining their control in this game, putting the pressure on the Tier 2 bottom. Shadow, with the Echo, is starting to push onto a Tier 2 himself, and he's managed to get up to 1,800 gold on top of the Echo, so it certainly does seem to have had an effect on his farm speed. And as we can see, he's only 300, 700 behind the two cores of OG, so the Slark is still keeping up with the tempo of the game.
Can you only do the Echo Saber on carries that have HP regen? In terms of a replacement, like you mentioned.
In terms of replacement, yeah.
I mean, you go it on a Lifestealer too, right? And he kind of has some kind of way of healing himself.
Yeah, I guess you could. People don't do it on Jug though, I guess. Although I guess in theory it could work. Not that you.
I mean, I've seen it on Jug a few times. I just don't. Maybe it's just not. That's not the hero to do it on. Not sure. Anyways, there's a high ground push. I got an attempt happening.
See how Wings can hold. It's interesting as well that the fact that OG do just let the Slark continue to have all this space. So OG really wanting to go all in on this, and we'll see how successful it is. They'll manage to force out the fortification. Shadow Blade now is the pickup from Slark. He's headed back to the fountain, so we'll see if he's able to catch anyone out on OG with that. N0tail taking down the Tier 3, now trying to keep Wings at bay. Shadow's moving in with the Shadow Blade. Let's see if he can catch them off guard. Turns towards N0tail. Miracle immediately popping the Stone Gaze, forcing Wings to back up. So the initial Shadow Blade usage is not going to gather too much in favour of the side of Wings. They are holding back OG. Ice does, of course, have the Golem available if OG want to stick around and go for more. N0tail still with the Aegis. Moon with that Blink ready to catch anyone that he spots. It certainly seems at the moment the Wings are having a trouble trying to slow this down. N0tail still having free range, chopping at the Rax's Shadow. Comes in again with the Shadow Blade onto Miracle. Knows that there's no Stone Gaze. Holds the Shadow Dance, continues to move in, now turns back towards N0tail. N0tail getting himself out of there. And again, Wings just don't seem to have the damage to do this. They're still yet to commit the Vacuum, the Wall, the Golem. They're still all available. N0tail having the heal stacked onto him by Fly. Jumping in again, but immediately pushing Shadow back. Innocence, here we go. Ice Ice drops the Golem down. OG now starting to scatter, falling back. But as we can see, just no damage is being done to OG at all. And they'll just turn around, take down the Golem. Nice 165-second cooldown. And OG, they just don't seem to be phased at all by Wings, and Wings just seemed unable to dent the armor at this side.
Yeah, it's looking pretty rough. At least the Aegis is out, but they kind of don't have much to go on here. There's still Oracle Ultimate, and X hasn't really used the core yet, so it's...
Well, he doesn't have Shadow.
Oh, and there we have it. There's your call into the Duncan. That's Slark down. He went all in on the purchase for the Shadow Blade. Out for 40 seconds. Wings. 18 minutes in, they're going to call it. It's all over. GG, well played. OG may have been beaten down early in the tournament by Wings, but this game one at the Grand Finals, it just never came together for Wings. I mean, was it the draft? Was it the play? Where did it all go wrong?
Drow Ranger.
So he's saying we're not going to see Drow again for the rest of the series. You got to ban it. Wings now respect the fact that OG can pull it off so well. Because you were saying, Ben, obviously the fact that you don't understand if OG were really scared of Wings Drow.
I think because when we saw the draft yesterday, whenever OG were first pick, they still banned out the Drow Ranger. So maybe yesterday they weren't comfortable enough picking it first phase, but now they definitely do. And it definitely gives them an upper hand in the draft.
I mean, I wonder what would have happened if they